Friday, 5 o'clock on the East Coast. Therefore, it's 2 hours, the start of 2 hours of nonstop NBA DFS conversation. We'll get some props thrown out there, too. We got Chief here with us. Of course, he'll tell you about some prize picks and underdog picks as well if you play in those streets. Crunch time, of course, they come in an hour and a half or so, hour and 20 minutes, give or take. So Friday, not messing around, 3-man booth. We're going with a threesome, 10 games. Usage is going to get delegated all over the place. It's Will. It's Chief Justice. Is this the first time we've ever had this iteration? I feel like it is, Will. If it happened before, I blocked it out, and I guess it was uneventful. I forgot it happened. This threesome, this combination?
Yeah.
I think it's the first time, yeah.
Okay. I would have felt weird and rude if it's happened like 7 times already. It's like, oh, I guess I just forgot.
Yeah, I think I tagged in on I was coming in on crunch time once. I think you and Bobby were on, and we hung out a little bit, but not our own intimate setting. So
yeah.
This
now
will
it's
be
intimate.
fun. We got a chance to
different, you know.
Yeah.
Crosstalk
We
doesn't
got a
count.
chance to
2 minutes of
discuss
crosstalk.
Bobby's millions, and he said, "Well, it's been a while. You know, I'd like to enter that realm again." So, Bobby, good luck, man. Hopefully, you can get another placard on the wall there.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
For,
they don't make them anymore.
$1 million.
Maybe I'll do. I like the Dr. Evil there. That was nice. Is that
they have budget cuts. They won't spring for that anymore, Bobby. That's
why I think they were just like it was like the first year they gave them out, and now they just don't.
We got another $1 million.
So man, you gotta sell that thing on eBay. That's worth an eBay sale.
Yeah, I think there's like
that's a collectible now.
I also think there's like a misprint in it, and I think that might make it more valuable because it's one of one, right?
It's like the old Billy Ripken baseball card, the F base. I don't know if you guys anybody's aware of that one.
I am.
Yeah,
of course.
88 Fleer, 89 Fleer. Is that what it is? Well, I think it's 88 Fleer. Somebody check there. All right. Bobby, what's up? How's Friday working for you? You got to get in the back of the line, by the way. I know you keep talking about winning another $1 million, but everybody doesn't win $1 million. You're back for seconds. You want more porridge?
It was over a decade ago, Dean. Almost 8 years ago. So, it's been a while. I'm back in line.
All right. Well, fair enough.
Having a good week on shows with you, though. I will say.
Yeah.
Shipped Wednesday. Shipped the $100. 500 man on DK, I think it was. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I threw if I had thrown in the 555, I would have won the 100K, but unfortunately my lineup didn't hit it. It was my last. I built 10 teams. It was my 10th team. Was
it Will Barton possibly? Maybe it wasn't Boucher.
No, so someone in chat actually talked about Isaiah Stewart. And then I seen him popping in projections a little bit, and I threw him in there, and I think he got 40 or something like that.
Wow, there you go.
I had Jokic.
Well, yeah, he was. Yeah. That was an amazing game from Joker, like 80 points or so, and just awesome. He's on the slate tonight, of course. A lot of interesting value going on. If you're running optimals, you're going to see a lot of Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks are super thin. That matchup looks awesome. We'll talk about Atlanta versus Charlotte. 240, I believe, is the total. As far as the body parts up in the air, Minnesota can really get goofy if D'Angelo Russell is ruled out, as well as Rudy Gobert. It would then become Naz Reid season, I presume. Of course, we know Cat is already out for them. Golden State is super thin. Some of those prices have adjusted, but they're without Draymond, they're without Wiggins, they're without Curry for a while, and potentially Klay Thompson as well. So pool party for sure in Philadelphia, at least as long as that game does not blow out. Time Lord's coming back for Boston. Al Horford's back for Boston. Boston, the best team in the league, is getting better. They're basically a scheduled blowout there. I believe they're placing Orlando. Chief, 240.5. We're going to talk about that, man. 240.5 as far as your Hornets versus Atlanta. We saw Ball come back, but played 34 minutes right out the gate, and he fouled out last 30 seconds or so. But good to see those minutes are solid. Yeah. And also what else is interesting is that 9 of the 10 games start at 8:30 or earlier. So just like a clear island game, the back half of the ESPN doubleheader, Denver versus the Lakers. So if you have pieces of that game, you better hope nothing goofy happens. I don't think we're not really waiting a news there, as far as I can tell. But Will, give me your overview as far as the slates. I assume you're going to like some of your Hornets, or at least that game. And just in general, what are you seeing?
I don't think I'm as enthused about this game on the Hornet side, maybe as most people, especially on FanDuel. Oubre's 8K and Rozier's 7,900. LaMelo's 8K. Like I don't. Clearly, LaMelo has upside. We've seen it, since he's been in the league. But when they're all there, I'm actually going to make more money probably fading LaMelo at 8K. I mean, if he cranks out a 50 burger tonight, which he could, at 8K, it's not so bad. But Rozier and Oubre, and I know you asked me about Slate overview, but since we're already on that game, I just figured we kind of dive in. But I'm not as enthused about this particular game as maybe most people now. If you ask me, how much Trae Young am I going to get? Now we're in a totally different discussion. Like this is kind of the nut spot for him at 9,800. He could go off for 60 here. And the crazy thing about it is, of course, you guys know I kind of look at props and stuff all day. And I mean, man, he's sitting at around 28.5. That's already pretty much half of his production. I think he's going for around 35 points tonight anyway. So I like Trae a ton. I think Okongwu is going to be okay as well. Our projections reflect that. And then the ownership reflects that. I mean, we've got him pushing 70%. That's ginormous for this size of a slate. So from a tournament perspective, while I like Okongwu, I'm more than willing to hit the X button. He's not 3K. He's 5,200. So if he goes off for 40, hey, I wipe my hands off, I close my computer, and I move on to the next day. But once again, at 5,200 and pushing 70%, X button. No way I'm playing Okongwu on this slate at that price. Now, if he was 3,500, I'd be on the lock button. But with that, with the salary distribution, I'm not, let's call it thrilled to play him at that ownership. And I think for me, you kind of asked my overview of the slate. I think those are some of the stands you're going to have to take and not be afraid. Back in my younger DFS career, I'd absolutely be afraid to hit the X button on Okongwu because I feel like I have FOMO, fear of missing out. And I remember how that felt. Thank God I've grown beyond that. And I have zero fear of missing out on what could be a 25 fantasy point performance from him. Do have some exposure to him in props. I think I got him at like over, 22, 23.5 points rebounds, which is fine. But I mean, if he puts up 30 fantasy points, he's not going to kill me. So that's my read. And then in terms of the slate as a whole, I would say, which I would always say on a slate, but don't be afraid to take a chance on some players that may be slightly tougher spots, but have the upside. So that's my overview of the slate, and then we'll kind of dig in game by game. But once again, since we were talking about Charlotte, I wanted to plug in a few nuggets.
Yeah, we'll go into more specifics in that game, and I didn't mean to frame it as if Charlotte was great. It really was LaMelo and all the Hawks, but we just got news that PJ Washington's been ruled out, so maybe it will be some Hornets. I wonder if they're going to start.
Oh God!
Or maybe they'll start Jalen McDaniels. So the Hornets do become. Ball was the one guy I was really interested in Charlotte, but now it opens up a little bit more. So Charlotte might get a little more interesting. As far as the slate for you, Bobby, what are you seeing? What's popping for you? What are you focusing on? What news are you waiting to drop?
Yeah, this first game, obviously Atlanta and Charlotte is going to be very big in terms of construction. Also waiting on Minnesota OKC starts at 8. I think we're getting a lot of news there. Rudy Gobert, D'Angelo Russell, both Q tags, I think, at this moment. So I'm pretty much, I think, backloading for that situation a little bit and also trying to get exposure to this first game. So, yeah, just working in between those two situations.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. And I like your point, Will, as far as Okongwu, especially on FanDuel where you only have to get one center. He's more expensive. You only get one and one only. If he puts up like 34, that's not going to kill you. And, it's going to open up some salary, but, you could spend up for a guy like Jokic and he could put up 75 or 80, or spend up Embiid, same deal. And you can find the guys that are 5 and 6K that put up 45 or so that make up the difference. It's and the ownership there, that might change. That seems a little bit too high on FanDuel, 65, 70%. DK.
I don't know, Dean. And that single entry stuff, though, man. At single entry and major tournaments, I mean, I think he's going to be close.
No, but the ownership,
unless
single entry, it'll be that high. But it's the projected ownership is not for single entry; it's for large field. You know what I mean? So
no, I know.
Entry, yeah, we higher.
But what I'm saying is, like, single entry, he might be like 76-ish. So
correct.
I think it's pretty close. I mean, it's like around 68 actually. So that's what I said, pushing 70. I think what I was going to say, I do think that's probably a major topic of discussion at some point. If Gobert is out, like Naz Reid is going to eat up that ownership. I think we get that before 7:00, and that'll pull some ownership off of him for sure.
If you don't, though, it's a hell of a gamble because I think
this is tournaments, baby. We need to be coaching people to gamble, Dean. Like this, if I'm in this spot and I don't, let's say it's about, and Bobby, you chime in here. Let's say we're around 6:45 and I'm still kind of scripting this out, and we don't have any news. I'm plugging in Naz Reid, and I don't have any care in the world about Okongwu. Like I plug in Naz Reid and take the chance that Naz is around. I mean, right now we got him basically projecting for nothing because we don't know the situation. I plug in Naz and I let it ride.
So I pulled up our if-then stuff, right? What if? So we have
Did Bobby say something? Bobby, did you say something?
If he's
yeah. I'm with Chief on that one.
Okay.
With Naz Reid. I was on the mute button. Sorry.
I was letting you go, and I wasn't watching. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll step in.
4K. Yeah. 4K Naz Reid, Gobert out. I think he becomes probably my
that's both sites for me. But once again, I think I'm only doing that. And hear what I'm saying, not what I'm not saying. I'm only doing that if we get zero news. Like at that point, I'm taking a chance on it. I'm saying, okay, the field isn't going to be able to adjust completely because we got we got 2 games going off at 7 Eastern, 4 games going off at 7:30 Eastern time. And perhaps the field can't adjust because Okongwu would have already started. So it's going to be real hard to get him in, I think, considering you probably want to play Embiid, you want to play some Jokic. Those are my thoughts.
I was just going to say, like, if you're a premium member, you see this, we have the if-then or the what-if. Like we have what if Clay sits out and we have the projections already set. What if Russell sits? What if Gobert sits? What if they both sit? So if Gobert and Russell both sit, Naz Reid is projected for 39 Fanduel points, 38 DK points, a better play, pretty clear better play than Okongwu. Go ahead.
And let me address this too, because a guy named Breaks Hijab, he said center is the wrong spot for a sleeper tonight. It's actually not. So when we're talking about sleeper, I'm not saying we're going to play him at 50% in our script. Like that's not what we're talking about. What we're seeing is nobody's going to be on him. They're not going to be able to get any ownership on him because they've already decided to play Okongwu and Jokic and Embiid and some of these other guys. And I'm saying we don't play Okongwu at all. We literally just plug in, let's say 20% Naz Reid because the field, they're not going to be able to get to him and make those types of adjustments, or most of the field. Let's say that, of course, the top tier players, they'll be at their computer all night and be, switching things out. But in a general sense, when you're saying, that's not the wrong spot for a sleeper, like you probably got to pick up and get away from, embrace a little bit more variance. Like if you're afraid that one of these guys is going to burn you, you probably don't want to play tonight.
All right. Well, yeah, it's an interesting decision point, especially on FanDuel where they're both center only. You can only roster one. On DK, you might be able to figure out a way. You can figure out a way to roster both if you want to do that. If we don't have full news just yet, I'm guessing we might get something around 6:30, an hour and a half before that game starts. As far as news, we might just get, game time decision, and that's worthless. But it's a really interesting decision point. And if we don't have news on it, like I don't have a lean as far as if Gobert is going to play or not going to play. He tends to play through stuff, but we'll see. Stay tuned. I think it's a really fun gamble to not, and you don't have to stick with Naz for what it's worth. Like if Gobert's in, you're not fully dead either, right? He's still like a guy that theoretically there's a path. He's still going to play 18 minutes or so. He's a good fantasy point minute guy. Like it's not going to be ideal or a good math play, but if you hit a 33-point Okongwu game on FanDuel and then Gobert out, like you're sitting pretty. Really curious what the field's going to do on that. And if people are running projections, like straight projections, they're going to get Okongwu and they're not going to get Nas because the projections can't assume that Gobert is out. So that's a fun little wrinkle, especially on FanDuel where you're locked in on one. All right, let's knock it out game by game. Very first game on the docket. Some good early games. Sacramento, Detroit, 237.5 is the total. Sacramento is a 5-point favorite here. Huge number, obviously. Detroit is, man, they rarely play guys like beyond 30 minutes or not many guys. They play 10 dudes. They're without Cunningham, obviously, done for the year. Bagley is back. He missed part of last game, which really opens stuff up for Jalen Duran. As far as Sacramento, we don't know about Kevin Huerter. He's questionable. Of course, he did not start last game. He didn't play last game. Terrence Davis jumped in the starting lineup and was shooting pretty well, 3-point efficiency-wise. And I believe Monk would also get a bump too. Bobby, Kings, Pistons, thoughts?
Yeah, so Terrence Davis the other night went off in terms of like just being a value. I think he's going to be somewhat like people are going to consider him. I don't know if I'm going to get there totally. This isn't the greatest game in general for me. Like I'd obviously rather get to that Charlotte-Atlanta game, but Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, they're always in play. Malik Monk played 33 minutes off the bench the other night. I like him. But his price on DK is around 5,800, so it's not really ideal for a 10-game slate. Yeah, I don't know. It's just more of like, do you want to play Terrence Davis? And on the other side of Detroit, it's like Duran and I don't know. It'd probably be Jaden Ivey maybe that I'd have interest in. That's really.
I think it's just those two for me. Like if I would consider.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of at. It being Ivy and Duran, and that's on the Detroit side. Ivy's playing pretty well. He's hitting projections. Don't mind getting a Duran. He had a good night the other night. But that's about it right now.
Durant played what 35, 36 minutes, and that was a direct that was with Bagley being out. Like those guys basically share the 48 minutes. So with Bagley presumed back, he's not on the injury report right now, so I assume he's good to go. I'm guessing Durant will go back to we have 27 minutes, which he's usable, he's fine, but don't expect the 35 minutes. He had 35 minutes versus Charlotte. Of course he's gonna smash. Like a big versus Charlotte, he put up a monster number. Just a different case tonight. Will, any thoughts? Feel free as far as Detroit, or just jump on over to Sacramento. One of my favorite plays in the slate plays for Sacramento. You probably know who it is, but what do you have, Will, as far as the Kings and Detroit?
I mean, I would assume it's either Sabonis or Fox. Which one might it be?
Yeah, it's Sabonis. The reason why is, first of all, Detroit's the second worst defensive team in basketball. When you think of our defense versus archetype here at RotoGrinders, we have number one spot, the absolute best position to face Detroit. Versatile bigs. We call Sabonis a versatile big. Detroit gives up the second most points in the paint. Sabonis scores like 65% of his points in the paint. He's going to eat this team alive.
Are you worried about his price tag, like 9.6?
Well, I was just going to drop the qualifier. He's a much better play, and ownership will reflect it on FanDuel than on DK.
Yeah,
he's like 1K cheaper in FanDuel. FanDuel, I think he's probably cash viable. DK, that's the whole thing. Am I worried about it? He's a little bit expensive, but also like he's going to be much less owned. So it's a push pull, right? What do you want? Yeah. But I think he's an awesome play here. It's just from a macro perspective, from a micro perspective, it just looks so good.
I'm with you. I just think center, like we talked about, Okongwu, Naz Reid, those guys take up center positions. Center's loaded at other places. I guess it is a really good tournament play.
Yeah.
On FanDuel, you can't get him at power forward for what it's worth.
Yes. And we got 5% Sabonis on DK for that reason, for Okongwu and for potentially maybe you're taking up a Reid spot that now I would feel miserable. Now, I probably wouldn't play Sabonis with Okongwu, not knowing the Reid news. I don't think I would do that. Right? Reid is not power forward. He's center only, correct on DK? I think he is. Yeah. So, I mean,
and for what it's worth, I do like Okongwu more on DK, where he's 4,700. Like that's a slightly different price point, but anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sacramento. I like these guys. Especially on FanDuel, I feel like Sabonis and Fox for sure, 8,400 and 8,900. Projection isn't great on Fox tonight. but I don't really care about that per se. Like, this is a guy that has 50-point upside in this spot, possibly even 60, depending on what happens. Now, the rest of his teammates have been playing a lot better. So, but we saw him, kind of pretty much drop off the other night on FanDuel with 27 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. Like, this is something he could replicate in a matchup with Detroit. So I like him a bunch. Love Sabonis on FanDuel as well. And then, Malik Monk at 5K in this spot, I don't hate it, but I don't think it's as valuable as the other night when he would have had 30 minutes. If Kevin Huerter was for some reason to get ruled out again, just by virtue, a freak accident or something, then obviously we play him. But I don't think that he's going to be necessary tonight.
Yeah, Huerter officially questionable. I think he's going to play. We'll see. Stay tuned, and we'll know.
Me too.
And yes, in the chat they're asking me rethink this one about Sabonis on DK. And yeah, I get it. But you're going to get so many cheap guys ownership wise, and there's Christian Woods at center. We'll be talking about maybe he draws the start today. You never know. We saw him play the second half or start the second half last game when they were getting walloped. Embiid and Jokic are awesome big spends that are also going to be 4 or 5 or 6% depending on the slate changes, and a lot of it is Naz Reid dependent. And then if Gobert is ruled out early, we're going to have Okongwu and Reed just paired together, and then all the spend-up centers are going to be interesting. And I think we agree, we kind of touched on it. We all seem to like if the situation works out best for Reed. Reed's got a better path than Okongwu if Gobert is out. Do we agree on that?
I agree. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, he's much more aggressive offensively, bigger usage, and better game environment too, although the Okongwu game environment's really good too. They're both really good, I guess. Bigs against Charlotte. All right. Is there anything else here, Will, Bobby, or moving on?
Negative.
I think we can move on.
This is one of the games, obviously. This is one of the biggest games in the slate, if not the biggest, depending on. Atlanta at Charlotte, again, 240.5 is the total. It's just a monster number. We just had Washington ruled out. Gordon Hayward expected to play tonight. I would imagine there's some sort of minutes limit. I haven't seen anything on it, but that would make sense to me. Atlanta without 3 of their regulars. They're starting center in Capella. They're starting 4 in Collins. They're starting 2 in DeJounte Murray. So we're projecting Trae Young, Griffin, Hunter, Jalen Johnson, and Okongwu to draw the start. And the 6th man, of course, will be Bogdanovic, whose minutes have elevated of late. There's not much of a minutes limit as far as I can tell. How much Atlanta is too much Atlanta, Bobby? Because if you're running optimals, I think you're getting 4, which, and again, this stuff changes. I don't know if it's going to be 4 by the time everything comes in, but Atlanta's popular. Where are you at on Atlanta?
Yeah, for me, Okongwu, I think he's a really strong play. I think projections are going to reflect how strong of a play is. You're getting a ton now, but Bogdanovich is hitting it. Jalen Johnson at 4,500 is going to come up. Trae Young, I think max 3 for me from Atlanta, just because I think news will change throughout the night. But my 2 favorite plays, I think, would be Okongwu at 4,700. I think he's in a really good spot. And then Trae Young at 10K, he's been injured. Whatever's going on with Trae Young at 10K, I think you can take the shot here. It's ball, defense. Same on the other side. Ball's going to get Trae Young. Those seem like guys I want to attack. Bogdanovich is going to have all the usage when Trae Young is not on the court, so he's fine to play as well. Jalen Johnson at 4,500. I don't mind him. I think in 150, he's definitely hitting your builds. I'm playing 10 teams. I don't know if he's going to hit any of my 10 teams, but he seems like a good play. So, yeah, that's pretty much what my thoughts on Atlanta. On the other side, it's LaMelo Ball. And outside of that, I don't know. I'm not really these other Hornets. I feel like I should be getting more, but I don't know. I'm not right now as of right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if our projections have changed and has worked under the assumption now that I think we're projecting Jalen McDaniels to jump in the starting lineup, and it looks like they have changed. If I'm reading this correctly. Yeah, we're giving Jalen McDaniels 34 minutes, 28 fantasy points, 5.3K, so usable. But Hunter is getting 26% on DK, 63% for Okongwu, 27% for Young. And again, I don't know if he's dealing with an injury or not, but he's certainly not playing great. There's some sort of spat with McMillan, his coach. But this should be an awesome environment here. Jump in here, Will. Atlanta, Charlotte. I know we kind of touched on it earlier. Does your opinion of Charlotte change much now that we know that who's been ruled out for Charlotte? PJ Washington has been ruled out. Does that change anything for you?
Nope. I mean, if they play Gordon Hayward 25 minutes, then they play him 25 minutes. I'm not really moved by PJ Washington being out. But that's just me. I mean, look, I watch a lot of Hornets games. I'm an avid fan. Atlanta usually plays us tough. If I had to peg a game to go to overtime, it will probably be when they play Atlanta, for what it's worth. But I still don't care. Like, it's really the prices. Like, if Terry Rozier was down to 6,800 and Oubre was 6,500, and at that point I'd be a lot more interested. But those aren't the prices. So it's pretty much Trae Young, probably some DeAndre Hunter, and then I don't mind Ball, and that's about it. Like, I'm not as enthused about this game, I think, as the field, which is why I'm. That's just the way I'm approaching it.
Do you think Rozier gets lost in translation on DK?
I don't think he gets played much at all.
I don't think he's going
to. I'm sure he does. Nah, yeah, I don't think he gets played.
I feel like he could be a pretty interesting tournament play just for that reason.
I mean, you can make a chalk lineup and just move Ball to
I don't
Rozier.
disagree with that at all.
Yeah, like I think, and Rozier can, like, when he gets going, he's viable to just keep shooting, right? 200 less than Ball.
Oh yeah, no, he is.
Yeah, Ball's gonna be played a ton. Ball's a really good play too. Like, he's gonna see over 30 plus minutes. Really good spot. Reason why projections love him so much. But Rozier is an interesting pivot, and he's like right. Like, Jalen Brunson's gonna be pretty chalky for a lot of people. He's 6,800. Rozier's 1,000 more. He's in that range. Like, we're going to get into all these. There's a lot of good 8K guards, but Rozier's fallen in those 7Ks. Maybe Rozier's an interesting pivot in this game.
Well, you're talking about Young, right? I'm just curious where you have, the expensive point guards, right? Luka, little different price point, but like SGA. You want SGA or you want Young? Similar price point.
I think I currently want Trae Young.
Will? Is Will?
Yeah, for me it's Trae. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear?
Yeah. I didn't hear you I was getting a pause. I'm not sure if we're getting some sort of internet goofiness. If that's on my end or your end, it sounds like we're talking into different dimensions.
It's all right. Let me say this. For me, it's Trae because of the matchup, but we're getting what I would consider to be pennies on the dollar ownership with SGA tonight. And listen, he's got a matchup. Like, we've seen SGA. I don't know if anybody's been watching, but this is a guy that's been scoring over 30 in most games. I'm over 30 real points in most games. And he's got upside for 40 in this spot against Minnesota, especially if Gobert and D'Lo sit. So I will say I do like Trae more, but if Gobert and D'Angelo are out, like, give me all the SGA in the world. And I would encourage you to have SGA in your player pool anyway, because, to me, he's another guy that's going to get lost in the shuffle. But I think he's a fantastic tournament play tonight.
Yeah, we got about 10% or so right now. And, yeah, the rim protector in Gobert, SGA drives to the basket a ton. So if he's out, I think that definitely bumps him. Minnesota and OKC, we'll get to that game, but just kind of a tease of that game. Two of the top three teams as far as yielding opponent three-pointers made. So bombs away in that game for sure. Really like the potential upside in that game as far as let's see. Davion Mitchell is out, by the way. Another King. He's ill. That doesn't change a ton, I don't think. I wonder if we're going to get a Herter update. But he wasn't projected to play a lot with Fox in.
So Dean, what I'm going to do, I know some people were asking about props. I'll give the props in the game that we're in. I won't take up a lot of time. But in the Hawks Hornets game, I am taking Trae Young. I've seen him 27.5 to 28.5. I'm good with the over on both. And then Onyeka Okongwu, I have seen him sitting around, I think 22 to 23 and a half points rebounds. And I am taking the over on that one as well. And then in the Pistons Sacramento game, I didn't mention this, I'm sorry, but we've got Jaden Ivey. He's been hovering around 18 and a half rebounds. I'm taking the under on Jaden Ivey points rebounds at 18 and a half.
By the way, Gordon Hayward officially is a game time decision for what it's worth with his shoulder. That's what I'm seeing. So if Hayward doesn't go, that condenses that Charlotte lineup even more. I was under the assumption that he was going to play tonight. He still might. I assume he does, but just stay tuned. If he doesn't go, that's 25 minutes we're delegating his way. That would go probably a few more to, well, I think we're already giving a lot, like 25 or 35 to McDaniels. And the Charlotte Hornets are really not thin. It gets ugly pretty fast as far as their rotation. But, okay, just wanted to note that. We shall move forward. That's it with the 7 o'clock games. Brooklyn, Toronto, 226 is the total. Speaking of teams that have players that have condensed rotations that play a ton of minutes, the Raptors are home to the Nets. They are 1-point dogs here. 226 is the total. As far as who's in and who's out, we have – sorry, I'm losing my list. My apologies. I'm now trying to find it. I'm struggling.
I feel like we're having a ton of technical issues on this show for whatever reason.
I think something's up with Will's computer. Not that
I think it was. I thought it was mine for a little bit. I don't know.
Dean, we're not blaming my computer for this.
When you're talking, like I'm hearing some like wah something like that. I don't know. That's probably the right sound effect, but
Dean, I've heard you echoing, but I'm not calling you out live on the air.
I heard myself echoing to somebody else's computer too. We're gonna power on through. All of our computers are screwed up. Who knows? Producer Steve, I'm sure, is on top of it. OJ Anunoby's not playing basketball tonight for Toronto. Achua Porter still out. Brooklyn, we're expecting O'Neal to be back. He's not on the injury report. Patty Mills, he was eating with Davion Mitchell. He had the fish. They both had the fish. He's not playing basketball tonight. Seth Curry is questionable. I will throw it to Will. Talk to me about Brooklyn and Toronto. Yeah, the Brooklyn side is, there's some spend ups, but everybody's just kind of priced what they should be. I'm not excited about much over here. How about you?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, as long as Brooklyn, has Ben Simmons in the equation and Kyrie and KD, it's not that one or two of these guys can't go off. It's definitely not the case. And this is a spot where I feel like, they could get there, but man, they're going to eat into each other, especially Ben Simmons grabbing rebounds and picking up assists. We should see Kevin Durant's rebounding dip a little bit in this game. Where KD has been picking up, 7 to 9 rebounds a lot of times when some of these guys have been out. Royce O'Neal being back in the fold as well should hurt KD's rebounding. So if KD's going to get there, he's going to have to score. That is another prop that I'm on. I do think KD puts the ball in the bucket tonight because I think they will need him to. I've seen him anywhere from 26.5 to 27.5. I'm taking the over on both. We've got him projected around 28.5 points roughly. In our premium projections, if you're a premium subscriber, you'll see that. But from a DFS perspective, with KD at 10.9 on Fanduel and Kyrie at 8,500, Ben Simmons 6,500, I don't feel the need to play them at those prices.
Yeah, Bobby, the only one really getting ownership as far as the Brooklyn side is Kyrie at 14% on Fanduel. I think he's the number one guy at 13% on DK. Durant, we're looking at 3%, and the rest of the guys like 3 and 2. And then Toronto, the minutes condensed, obviously, for the Toronto side. FEV is 8K, though. He's kind of priced where he should be. Scotty Barnes is 7.5. He's going to play upwards of, 35, 40 minutes or so. The tricky one is Gary Trent. The minutes are thinnest amongst the starters, and he's also super reliant on scoring. If he's not scoring, he stinks, and he stinks a lot lately. I don't know how much I need that. Your thoughts as far as Brooklyn and Toronto. And, of course, you can always play Pascal Siakam, and he's coming in really low owned, 3% on DK. And he is power forward eligible, which is nice to see on DK. We haven't had that all season long. But
it is nice on the slate just because of all the value we have at center. He's in a good spot, too, I feel like. Fred VanVleet the other night, I think Fred VanVleet was someone I took a big stand on. Thought he had the potential to break the slate. I think he put up 60 when we were on the show the other day. So
they smashed.
Yeah, he was on my main team. Gary Trent, I like VanVleet tonight. I think it's a good spot. Kyrie defense, obviously, can't go wrong in that situation. Gary Trent, minutes went down because of Hernan Gomez. I think that's why he lost minutes.
He wasn't making his shots, which is that's kind of a problem. He doesn't do anything else besides score, and if he's not scoring,
and he was showing up in every
man. Yep. Bo Cruz. I'd be taking Bo Cruz myself.
A lot of editing in that movie, but yeah, I thought he was how's this guy getting more minutes? Look how good he is. Shout out Adam Sandler and what was the name of that movie? I'm forgetting the name for some reason. But
can you guys hear my kid losing his mind outside?
But it's okay, man. It's okay.
I'm like
most
in
of the
between
people
that
watching this show, kids. I've got kids, so we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hernan Gomez got 24 minutes. He stole minutes from Boucher too. He didn't do anything with him, but yeah, I like Boucher that slate. Not going back there tonight, but man, I don't know if I can.
Your kid is a welcome addition to this show with Dean hosting. That's a joke. Dean, I don't usually take host shots. That's probably my one and only this year.
Take all the shots you want. I'm good. I'm not very sensitive. Yeah, back to Toronto. It's just like they're all sort of priced where they should be, and can they all get there? Sure, not all of them. You know what I mean? They all have a shot.
I like VanVleet for what it's worth, though. As long as sitting, I'm in on VanVleet probably up to like 8,800. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm in on some Freddie VV here.
I like VanVleet and Siakam for what it's worth, but Dean puts a bonus in my head now too, so I kind of got to figure that.
The Sabonis one is tough again because I'm only center, and especially if the Reed thing opens up, it's tough.
But listen,
that's the benefit of Siakam is the power forward eligibility.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. What I will say though on the Sabonis deal, to me that's what makes it a good tournament play. Like nobody wants to play him. He's slightly overpriced, and who's to say he doesn't put up 65 tonight? Like who's to say he doesn't do that in this spot? If he does, you'll look like a genius. If not, it's okay. He's getting low ownership anyway. Like that's the other beauty to me of slightly overpriced players on really good slates. Ownership's going to be 2% and 3%, and I don't have to play him at 20. I can get 15% Sabonis tonight and feel really good. If he goes off, I'm sitting, and I just need everybody else to do their job.
We got anything else here, boys? Or moving on?
We can move on.
All right, let's do it. Next game is Indiana and Cleveland. 222.5. Your child is a very big fan of this game. I can tell.
I cannot. I've never seen him. Well, he's usually more calm than this.
No worries. We'll power on through. It's very faint. It's not like it's that we don't hear. It's not like blaring in our ears or anything. But all right, yeah, 222.5 as far as Indiana.
I'll read the YouTube comments to be a judge to get a better idea.
Yeah, let's see if YouTube comments can hear it. I'm sure they hear it.
No, they I don't know. They didn't say anything. Thought it was a cat. The kid noises. Oh, great.
Not a lot of injuries in this game. Indiana and Cleveland. Cleveland 8-point favorite here. Nobody hurt for Indiana. They're fully healthy. Duarte's just down to the G League chilling. Daniel Tice doesn't matter. Cleveland, one of their bigs, Dean Wade, he doesn't matter when everybody else is healthy. So, you generally like to attack teams that are without players, and players are getting bumps based upon whatever, their projected minutes may be, and now they're getting 7 or 8 more delegated their way, and the price is a bit of a bargain. We have no bargains here, Will. Pretty fair price on Jared Allen, but he's a center. We talked about centers already. There's a bunch of centers we like. I don't really like this game. I don't really want to pick on Cleveland with Indiana. They're fully healthy. Cleveland, really good defensive team, obviously. I just don't like this game as a general thought. Will, tell me otherwise.
I don't ever mind Halliburton, but that's about it.
Yeah, Cleveland's just they're the slowest team in the league, right? And they're the best defensive team in the league. Like, why would I want to mess with that? It's just sort of yeah, but yeah, you could if you want to play Halliburton in your tournament lineups, sure, he can always get there. But for me, it's the scenic route. Bobby, any Pacers for you? Jump on over to Cleveland also.
Yeah, I'm on the Cleveland side. I feel like your Sabonis take is like my Allen take. Allen's in a very good spot. He's 7K, so I feel like it's more feasible. Allen seems like he could be a guy that if he's coming in low owned, which I think he is, I think he could do some damage on the slate. It stinks because like the centers we want to play, like going back to Kongwu and Naz Reid, they're both center eligible, but I think Allen's an interesting tournament pivot at the center position.
Yeah, Michael in chat's talking about Kevin Love, power forwards. He's really cheap on
So
3.6, but he's just not playing any minutes.
But there's potential for him to play more minutes, right? Because he's kind of fluctuate. He's not getting all the backup minutes for Allen, but he could, right? In that case, and if he did, maybe there's an increase in that situation.
If I told you he was playing 20 minutes, would you play him at 3.6? 20, no more, no less.
He's power forward center, right?
Correct. He is a power forward, which is you need that.
Yeah, so I think that what's he going to get me if he can do enough with 20 minutes, I feel like.
He's like a 1.15 DK.
Yeah.
But like that's not every game. Some games he's 1.5. What is he on the season? Yeah, 1.14 on DK, 1.07 on Fanduel.
I actually don't hate the Love call.
Like I don't know how much if this game blows out. I don't know how much.
What do we have Love for minutes currently?
Probably not a lot. I'm gonna guess like 15.
18 minutes.
Okay.
I could see Love picking up more minutes here. I don't mind him at 3.6.
Will, did you have a thought as far as Cleveland's?
Not really. I think, if you like the spot, it's a good spot with Indiana. Garland's down to 7,800. Hasn't really put up any crazy performances with Donovan Mitchell playing recently, but he's under 8K. He's a guy that can get 12 to 15 assists in this spot. I'm just telling you, and I know he's at 7.5 on the books tonight. Ding, ding, ding. I'm taking the over at 7.5 assists, but I think Garland's in play, and so is Mitchell, even at 8,600. I know you don't really like to play Mitchell at all, Dean, but this is another spot where he could go off for 50 here, and you'd be sitting pretty after this game is over. Even though they play slow, they're playing Indiana. This should be a good spot for them to put the ball in the basket a ton.
Question in chat, Mr. Richard says, "Tell me Lamar Stevens is bad value, please."
Lamar Stevens is bad value, but
he's bad value.
but his rebound prop is 4.5 on the books. I'm telling you, take the over. And I'm not an over prop better in general, just generally speaking. I play a lot of unders for NBA. I've got a lot tonight, but Lamar Stevens at 4.5 rebounds on the books, slightly over.
Jeez, he took 15 shots last game at 11 rebounds. What an insane outlier game that was against Dallas, no less.
They got blown out, Dean. He was playing garbage minutes.
Is that what was going on? Okay, the previous game,
I think they smoked. They smoked Dallas. Luka barely played the whole fourth quarter. I think. Yeah.
He's a good defensive player. That's where he's useful. 25 minutes the previous game versus the Spurs. Versus the Spurs, 0 shots. Didn't even shoot. No usage.
But the rebounds are going to be there. Don't play the points prop. Rebounds.
What's his usage in the season? Oh, higher than that. It's 14%. That's actually higher than I expected. Still not good. All right. We're moving on. That game is not terribly appealing. Orlando versus Boston. Boston is a 12-point favorite. We're getting the Time Lord back, making his debut. Obviously, you're not rostering him. They're going to baby him, I presume. Horford also coming back from having a baby. I'm pretty sure he had a baby. He had a child, or his wife, significant other. Marcus Smart is ill. He's questionable. Orlando, same deal as always. Suggs, Harris, Okiki, Wendell Carter, all still out. Man, Orlando really got busy last game. Everybody was good in the Orlando game. Of course, Boston, best offensive team in the league. 12-point favorite here. Feels like a scheduled blowout. Friday night, you're getting the Time Lord back. They're going to be busy in the Garden. But I don't hate the Fultz price. If I'm playing anybody in Orlando, I don't think it's okay.
God.
I don't hate it.
Dude, stop it. Do not play Markelle Fultz tonight. It's
if I'm running back
Paulo Banchero. It's Paolo Banchero. If we're playing anyone from the Orlando Magic, okay? It's Paolo Banchero. Listen, he's 7,700. Nobody wants to play him in this tough spot. And this is, I'm telling you, this is my stand tonight. Taking some of these, and he's not a superstar yet. He's a rookie. This should be a tough spot for him. I understand. But if Orlando's anywhere remotely game, Paolo is the reason. So I like him a ton. At 7,700, he's got 50, 60 point upside. He's a guy we'll have some exposure to for sure.
I mean, Boston might have the best offense. They might have a top 3, top 4 defense once Williams gets acclimated. Best team in the league at this point. For me, I think that's. I mean, I don't know who you want to argue.
That's TBD, Dean.
The current as we stand, they're the best team in the league. Who do you want to put against them? Well, yeah, I know there's a championship that's on layaway. That's going to happen, and things play out. But
they'll choke it away. But right now, currently, they're the best team in the league.
That's Thanks, Bobby. This team isn't winning a championship this season. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that out in the atmosphere for everybody.
Who's going to win? If you have to pick one team, who are you picking?
Milwaukee puts them out.
I like Milwaukee too.
If Chris Middleton's playing last season, Boston doesn't even go to the finals. Okay, so let's just
Chris Middleton kills the Celtics for what it's worth.
Yeah,
the Brogdon trade happened a year earlier. The Celtics won the championship. How about that?
Yeah. I think we do actually have plays on this. If just getting back to the game, if Smart sits, Brogdon would be someone at 4-9. I think you could consider. I think you'd have to consider him. The Fultz, I agree with both of you. I like Fultz at 5-1 if Smart's out. He played very well his last game out. We were all trying to make it work for a week.
He had a lot of stocks, if we're going to be fair. He kind of got lucky that game, but he also had a lot of games where he was getting hurt and he was in foul trouble, and there's some blowouts, a lot of goofiness with Orlando and Fultz.
But here's the thing with Fultz, though. Like Cole Anthony's playing minutes. It's like Fultz is going to play and Cole Anthony's going to play, and it seems to me whichever one's playing. What's that?
There's only one basketball.
They play together.
Yeah,
they'll cross over.
Yeah, I get it. But man, Markelle Fultz. Well, speaking of that, I am taking Markelle Fultz under points tonight for what it's worth.
I do like the Paolo call though. Paolo's been good.
Yeah.
If you play Paolo, do you feel obligated to run back somebody on Boston because he only hits a ceiling if this game is close, and then if the game is close, I'm guessing somebody from Boston. Although everybody basically is playing, we don't know about Smart. We'll see. Stay tuned. But do you feel obligated if you're playing Banchero to run it back with somebody in Boston?
At 7-7, most likely. Who it would be at this exact moment, not sure.
Yeah, nobody on Boston really stands out as a great math play. Like obviously, you're always happy to get to Tatum. You're always happy. It's like, oh, I got Brown. Okay, cool. But I'm not starting a lineup with building, working out like 11-1 for Tatum or 9-2 for Brown.
Not on this slate.
Well, I think Bobby brought up probably what I feel like is the best point. If Marcus Smart sits, like now you've got Derek White at 4K and Malcolm Brogdon at 4,900. Like those are your two cheap targets, I think, to get in.
And you know what? We got an if then. What if? If you're a premium member, what if we have Smart out? Let's see who the best value would be. Brogdon would get projected for 31 DK points and 29 Fanduel. White 24 and 24. So it looks like Brogdon will become the best according to our projections. This stuff may change, obviously, but what's his price? He's 4.9 on DK. That's okay.
Right.
5.6 on Fanduel. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. But all right, this is it. We're moving on from this game. I think so. Yes.
Yep.
Golden State, the Warriors are in Philadelphia. I believe this is an ESPN game, if you care about such things. Golden State, obviously, without at least 3 starters. No Steph, no Draymond, no Wiggins. Real injuries, too, which is nice to see. Not the fake ones he would give. And Clay's got a well, it's not nice he guy's injured. I don't mean it that way. It's just not fraudulent tags. All right, Clay has a knee, so he is questionable, too. We're projecting him in as of right now. Philadelphia, Melton expected to play. House expected to be available. And Korkmaz is questionable. Maxey is still out. Chief, what's going on? What did I miss?
No, you just keep going, D. Steve with the gifs, man. He's my guy. He's crushing it, man. He's crushing it right now.
That's the appropriate reaction to that sentence I was trying to say because it didn't come out the way. Yeah, producer Steve has a good time there with the gifts for sure. That's why you got to not just like listen to us, but watch the screen, I suppose. But I wanted to see like what Dante DiVincenzo was projected for, and it went away. Oh, there it is. It's back. Now I can see it. There should be some value here, Bobby, as far as the Golden State side. Certainly, Jordan Poole is going to take as many shots as he possibly can take. Now, the price has adjusted, but I think there's still some meat on that bone. It's kind of a push-pull with Clay because if Clay is out, then probably even more shots go his way. But the chance of a blowout is even heightened even more. But he's certainly last man standing. He's Bo Smith, in the living room. He's John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, whatever gif you want to drop there, Steve. But, your thoughts as far as the Warriors, Bobby.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with Meansy. I've been following core plays all day. I think Clay eventually sits. And when he does sit, I think Poole becomes a very strong play. DiVincenzo becomes a very good play because we already have Curry and Wiggins out, right?
Yeah,
and Draymond.
And Draymond. So the other part of that is Kuminga on the other side. I think like Jermichael Green or Kuminga would become Kuminga would probably be my favorite. He'd probably be at 4,900 power forward eligible. I think he'd be my favorite value. Jermichael probably in larger field stuff. But yeah, it would be Poole, Kuminga, and that would do it. If Clay did play, though, I think I'd prefer Clay over both Poole and Kuminga.
By the way, we have a couple things. House expected to be available, not a big deal. Korkmaz, he was hanging out with Davion Mitchell, so he got ill. He's not playing basketball tonight. Marcus Smart, he's going to give it a go. He's in. He had the illness, but he's going to play. So Boston is full go, healthy as they've been the entire season. Lastly, if Clay is out, again, we did a bunch of these today. I say we. I had nothing to do with it. Probably Tuttle. The what-if stuff, which is very useful. If Clay is out, our projections really like Dante DiVincenzo to step up. We're projecting like 37 DK, 36 FanDuel. The price obviously is no longer 3 or 4K, but there's still plenty of meat there. He's in the 5s, I believe. He's jumping off as a big DK value, a big FanDuel value under the assumption or the potential of Clay stepping aside. Poole with 44 DK points all of a sudden, and then Kuminga enters the conversation, closing in on 30 DK points. Will, you want to do some if-then stuff as far as Golden State? But I think it's pretty clear like those three guys, if Clay is out, all become really good.
Yeah, Poole, DiVincenzo, Kuminga for sure. And I think that would be enough. Like, look, we do have Jermichael Green, and this is on this is FanDuel. He's at 3,500. I'll flip over to DK in a second. He's 3,500 right now. I'm assuming, if Clay sits too, man, like he should get hopefully all the minutes he can handle. And I think he's going to be a good value. But I think the most important guys, the guys who are going to be taking the shots, Poole, DiVincenzo, and then you'll have Kuminga, kind of a Swiss Army knife for this team. And, you can play those three. I do think, and I know we're talking about Golden State, but, man, I think the interesting part is how many guys can you get in from Philly? Like, and do they blow this team out too early for them to not meet value? Like, I know, we've kind of talked about the cheap centers, but the expensive centers are in like crazy good spots tonight.
They're not going
a la Joel Embiid, and he's not getting any ownership on FanDuel. So that gets me very excited for a guy that's probably going to score 30, close to 35 real points, and now it's just up to the rebounds, the assists, the steals, and blocks. We've got him projected for 55 fantasy points. That's our median projection, and I like Joel Embiid a ton, and I do mean a ton on this slate against Golden State.
Embiid ownership projection on FanDuel. I'm trying to find it. I'm scrolling down. It's 3%.
It's low.
Yeah, well, when Okongwu takes up more than half of it, the pie all of a sudden disappears pretty quickly. For that reason, like, I mean, obviously in tournaments, if you're running 100 lineups, I think getting like 6% in Pede is certainly recommended.
Oh, 15. Come on. Because there are other, so that's the thing. There are other spots you can get 5K guys. Like that's the thing. And I do feel like all value isn't created equal. And I've talked about that. Like center value is typically different than guard value unless everybody's out, because centers are going to get rebounds and have the option for blocks and stuff like that. But we've got 5K guys like DiVincenzo's 5,300 on FanDuel. Now he's at 45%. Don't get me wrong. So it's like apples and pears or whatever. But he could still outscore Okongwu, right? And you play Embiid and you get what I'm saying? Or Jokic or Anthony Davis. And I know we'll get to those players, but that's kind of my point and my reason for not worrying about the cheap Okongwu 70% value is what I'm saying.
Well, you mentioned Green on FanDuel. Like, I know he's like a good math play. Like, if you do the 6X thing, obviously that's different when the guy's really cheap. How many points do you need out of him? Because we're projecting, if Clay is out, still just like 22 FanDuel points out of Green, and like that's not really useful in my opinion. It's not going to kill you, but it's not useful.
What's Thad Young's price on FD?
Thad Young. I don't know.
5K.
Why? What's the story? Is it something happened with Thad Young?
No, 3-4. He's just starting to show up as a good DK value. I don't know if that's correct, but
okay.
If he started last game, 3-4. It's just the opportunity cost at center is pretty amazing at this point. So
he's center and center only on DraftKings. On FanDuel, he's power forward only. Yeah, 5K on FanDuel is not nearly as interesting.
Yeah,
center only on DK. You know, he's not competing.
It's not. He's not going to beat those other guys. Yeah,
like a 20-point projection at 3-4 at center only is kind of useless. But Green, how many points do you need out of Green? Will, you need at least 25, right?
Yeah, that's kind of my that's my sweet spot for the 3K guys. 25, and I'm feeling a lot better. Steve is on it today, man. Steve, crushing the game, sir. Crushing the game.
Mr. Richard wants to know, is it viable to fade and beat single entry on DK? Like, that's like what almost everybody's doing. So I'm not really sure if I understand the question. Like that's a lot of
Harden that everyone's playing, right?
Say it again.
I think it's going to be Harden that everyone's going to end up playing.
Yeah, well, just the way the build works.
Yeah.
If you're playing one of those two, you're playing Harden for sure. And you peek what the ownership stuff is in this game. I think Harden's getting, well, according to ownership projections, we're just giving 4% to Harden on DK, which is, if it's 4% at 9.9, I like that a good bit.
I'm probably going to be playing some Harden if that's the ownership.
Yeah, and this, let me see, when was the last time we had an ownership? About 20 minutes ago or so. Just giving it a refresh. Maybe this has changed. But like, there's people are going to play Trey over him, right? I think so. A similar price point. So it kind of checks out. I like it. Kuminga, I think it's a nice boost if Clay doesn't go. He's fine, playable if Clay plays, but much less appealing for me. Yeah, final thoughts here, Bobby, as far as Golden State and Philly. I think it's one of the more interesting games in the slates.
Yeah. So for me, I think that I kind of like got into it, but if Poole were to sit, or I just think Kuminga's a good play. Clay, if Clay sits, then I'm not Poole sits. If Clay sits, DiVincenzo and Poole are better plays at that point.
You got anything else there, Will, as far as Philly and Golden State? Did you throw out any props for the people, the underdog, or anything?
On underdog, they had Jordan Poole sitting at 35.5 fantasy points, and it's based on FanDuel scoring. I gotta assume they've taken that down because we're getting to the point now where I post something and then the picks get bumped in the direction that I've got. I'll check and see, but I did have him at 35.5 fantasy points.
You moved the needle?
I was
Is that
on
what you're
the
saying?
over, and then I did. I do, and it's sad really because I'll post and then somebody wants to tail and the lines move. And I was in this morning with Embiid over 30 and a half, 30 to 31 and a half points. And I've got to assume they haven't moved that one too much. Yeah, Jordan Poole's still at 35.25. I'm shocked he's still there, but at 35.25 points a year, Embiid is at 32 and a half. Now he was around 30 and a half to 31 and a half this morning. I still don't mind the over, but I've already got enough action in on it, so I don't want to.
I saw people in the chat speculating that this game's going to be a blowout. Like, sure, maybe it might. Very good. There's a decent chance. Yeah. If it's a 10-point game, as Vegas is saying, with 3 minutes to go, it's not a blowout, and everybody's still out there. So, yeah, there is some blowout risk. Understand that when you're building lineups, but there's also a very real chance that it's not a blowout. You know, the Warriors guys get paid too. They're professionals. They practice. They're professionally trained to play basketball. All right, New York and Chicago. I think we have 4 games left to go. I think we're timing this pretty well. Maybe we'll have some time to answer some questions in chat as well. But all right. Oh yeah. So what they're saying, Casey in chats, your monkey knife fight videos. I guess once they get out there, they're watching too. You got to swerve. What you got to do is you got to like do the old wink, wink, and like tell them say over, but really tell the crew. But like that's gonna backfire, isn't it? That's a bad idea.
So it's a very bad idea.
So listen, everybody, just when I say over, I mean under, and we're gonna just got to keep on their toes. Forget that idea. Not a good. It's not gonna end well. New York and the Bulls, 225 is the total. The Bulls are 3-point favorites here. Fully healthy with the exception of Ayo Dosunmu, who's currently questionable with his he's got a pelvic issue. I saw somebody in chat asking about Kobe White. Little thin. You need Dosunmu out. But like it's still, he's super scoring dependent. He's been okay of late, but his floor is rough if he's not making his baskets. New York is pretty healthy with the exception, or basically fully healthy with the exception of Obi Toppin, who's got that knee. He's out for a while. Oh, Arcidiacono's questionable. Not that he would be in the rotation anyway, I don't think.
You said Obi Toppin has a knee?
Yes. He's got 2, but one does not feel especially good. Yeah.
It's so funny, though, because I saw the Knicks Christmas dinner photos. He had a boot on. So I guess he's also got a foot that they're not talking about.
Yeah, that's the one with the Brunson. That's what was going around. The picture was going around with their significant others, and Brunson was wearing the boot, and people were speculating like he was questionable a few days back, and he played, and I think he played well, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Any event, Will, tell me what you're doing here as far as New York and Chicago.
Yeah, don't hate Brunson, but I mean he's not like a top target. For him to be sitting at 34%, like, whew, 34% for me at 6,800, like that's another X button for me. I'm not doing that. And I like Brunson. He's going to play fine. But, pushing 35% ownership on this slate, forget about it. I'm not
Where
doing
are you seeing that at? I don't see that at all.
Oh, you know what? I misread that. It's 7%, Dean. Excuse me. Thank you for correcting me on the air. I'm serious. Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
I was flipping out. I'm like, is Brunson that popular?
Yeah, I was like, man. Yeah, but RJ should be okay in this spot. I don't mind Julius Randle either, a guy that's been playing really well. I just need him to not pick up 10 rebounds. So, in fact, he can stop at 8. We've got him at 9.5 rebounds. I took the under there as well. But yeah, so Julius Randle, he's been playing fantastically well. 8,700 against the Bulls. I'm not expecting overtime, but I am expecting him to keep, doing his thing. So he's going to be a top target, I think. Another one of these guys that are kind of on the outside looking in because we want to play other value. But this should be a competitive game. I like attacking guys in competitive games, because especially with a team like the Knicks, he's going to play his minutes anyway. And if the game is competitive, maybe we squeeze out a little bit more blood out of the turnip. And so, once again, 8,700, really like him. And then on the other side, man, as long as Zach LaVine stays in this low 7K, upper 6K range, I'm just going to keep him in the pool. I want to play Nikola Vucevic, man, at 7,300. I wish he had a lot more performances. We haven't seen a ton of them, but he's another one at 7,300. He's got 45 to 50 point upside. I will have some of him in the pool as well.
Yeah, this is a rematch from a couple days ago where Brunson did smash, played 39 minutes, That's so Tibbs. Like, oh, he's questionable with a leg or whatever it was.
Overtime. It was an overtime game. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I forgot that. Okay, 39 minutes. So I guess I presume he played 34 in regulation. He smashed. LaVine was solid as well. I think LaVine is the best play mathematically in this game. I think ownership reflects that as well. Yeah. On DK, he's getting 16%. Barrett, 11. Randall, 9. Brunson, 7. Yeah, Bobby, jump in here. Your thoughts as far as New York and Chicago. I'm probably not, as somebody that's not making a lot of lineups, I'm probably not going to get a ton, but I'm happy to land on LaVine as my last man in. I'm happy to land on Brunson as last man in if it makes everything work. Is there anything you're focusing on as far as this game?
Yeah, I think you hit it. LaVine's probably the best math play. Brunson, he went off. Chief kind of hit it, though, that it was also in an overtime situation. I think there are better plays that I'd rather get to on the slate than Jalen Brunson. Julius Randle, however, he has been on a tear. I really like getting to Randle. Was he 28% usage, 1.21 fantasy points per minute? I think Randle's a really good play at the power forward position. Don't mind a Mitchell Robinson pivot and large field stuff off of maybe like an Okongwu for whatever reason. Like if you wanted to do that in large field stuff, he's 5'2", Okongwu's 4'7". Mitch Rob's minutes have been up. 20. He's going to probably have him for 26. But that's about it for this game for me.
The Clay update is no update. Game time decision, no surprise there.
Right.
And there's also an update that James Wiseman will play. Called him up from the G League. I don't know how much he will play, but that Wiseman versus Embiid, I feel like Embiid's going to get that three quick fouls.
Yeah. Go ahead and sign Wiseman up for fouls quickly. Under 4.5. I'm taking the over.
Yeah, I mean Looney, I presume starts, but yeah, whenever they cross over, that'll be interesting. And I know Wiseman's got some athletic ability, but he's obviously still plenty raw. Embiid's just going to work him, and he's going to love doing it too. He'll be talking smack to him as he's doing it. Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to shoot the fadeaway on you very quickly. Might I add? Squish.
You got the versatile impersonations today. You're busting out the entire arsenal. What else is in the repertoire? I'm curious. We still have 12 more minutes to go.
I'm digging deep in my bag today. Deep in my bag. I'm trying to impress Bobby so we can do more shows together. This is for you, Bobby.
I'm a fill-in here. I'm filling in for Kirk Dees.
What is Kirk Dees with child again? Is that what's going on?
He had I think he had just to watch his kids, so I jumped in.
Did he not know like that's part of the gig? He thought it was like a dog. He could just leave it off to the side. And yeah, well, if he's listening, what's up, Kirkwood? We miss you.
Listen, Wiseman, I'm sending you back to the G League after tonight.
Can you do like a Steven Adams impression? I'm curious how versatile. What you got? Australian.
I need to hear more Steven Adams.
Just give me like the standard Australian, like generic. Yeah, someone you're in.
No, I need to hear more Steven Adams. Let's see if I can fire that one up for the next time. Next time I'm on, I'll go watch some Steven Adams interviews.
Or Buddy Hield is another one. He's got a Bohemian accent, right? He's from the Bahamas, I believe. I feel like when I heard him speak, I'm like, oh, I did not know he sounded like that. I forgot. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about what is the next game? Who else is playing basketball this evening?
Minnesota, OKC. We got a 233.5 total. Still waiting on that D'Angelo Russell news. Still waiting on the Gobert news. Bobby, Minnesota, Thunder. What are we doing?
Yeah, so if Gobert is out, Naz Reid. We all love Naz Reid in that situation. If D'Angelo Russell's out, we like Noel. I think that's the best way to put it. Kyle Anderson's also another guy at 5'7" who I think is in play. Yeah, that's pretty much the Minnesota side. What are you guys thinking here?
Yeah, well, go ahead.
For me, so this is weird, right? I kind of want Gobert to play because I don't know if you guys have seen what he's been doing in most games
good.
I mean, recently, like the guys, he's even scoring 20 points in some of these games And today he gets a matchup with OKC, who, while they're not the worst in the league, but man, like, come on. I think I want Rudy to play because nobody's going to play Rudy tonight, I don't think, even with him being in because the news is coming in late. I really like him. If D'Lo sits, I like Anthony Edwards. This is a spot where he should be able to get off. And he's probably, in all honesty, he might be the most volatile tournament player on this team. But that's why we like him, because while he may score 35 tonight, we know he's got 60-point upside. So I do like Anthony Edwards a great deal against this OKC team. For what it's worth, last time he played OKC, he put up 46, for what that's worth.
I talked about this earlier in the show. So 2 of the top 3 teams as far as yielding 3-pointers made. So it's a great matchup for all 3-point shooters. And you mentioned Gobert. I totally agree. If he goes, he's probably going to get lost. But 7-6 is a really good price on DK where you can roster 2. And it's tough to just pick one and one only on Fanduel. But, of course, you get that bonus if he gets going as far as blocks and stocks. You get 3 points over there. OKC yielding points in the paint. They are, I believe, 5th or 6th. Rudy Gobert, he lives in the paint. Like, all of his points come from the paint. He's got no jump shot. It's broken. I guess it never was. So if it never was, it never could be broken. Also, as far as rebounding, OKC is a crap rebound team. They're the 4th worst rebounding team in the league. So, like, that suits all of, the attributes there for Gobert. It makes a lot of sense to play him if he goes. Reed, he's a good 3-point shooter. He's got the weirdest 3-point shot. Have you guys ever seen Naz Reid take a jump shot? It's like so flat and like barely jumps, but it works well enough. Like he'll play some if Gobert goes, but obviously he becomes super, super interesting. Becomes I don't want to say a smash play. I do want to say a smash play, like a lock button play for me probably on DK. If
4K.
Plan a
no. Not 4K. I'm sorry, it's 4K on FanDuel. Sorry.
I believe he's 4K. He's 4.5 on FanDuel and 4K on DK. So yeah, 4K on DK for Naz Reid. Yeah. Just like that's, and if Gobert is out, just lock city. Love Shea as well. Again, Poku is popping in our projections, and that's super, super fragile. And our projections are projecting him to start, and that doesn't always happen, especially against like big, powerful centers. Their options are kind of limited, though. They really don't have much else. The Moose, he might get loose. We'll see. Now, you're not playing him. I'm just trying to think who plays for OKC tonight. They are without Darius Baisley. They are without Kenrich Williams. They are without JRE. So they are thin inside. They're really vulnerable inside. So, again, if Gobert goes, he's going to ravage. This is like a 15-15 game with a bunch of stocks.
But I mean, D, but here's the thing. Recently, it's been more like 18-15 games, 20-15. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the upside is there if he goes tonight for sure.
How do we feel about the Thunder, Bobby? Did you touch about that? Because I think
the Thunder. So Poku, Lou Dort, like these guys are going to be in play just because of the situation. With the others out, like 4,100 Poku. I guess I just don't know if
I need him starting.
So like he's you can definitely play him. But like you said, he's fragile. Lou Dort, if Lou Dort's going to be chalk, I'm probably not going to play a ton of Lou Dort. Shea on the other side of this, like Naz Reid and some of the Kyle Anderson and whoever these guys that might become value plays, I like him as a run back a good bit.
Oh yeah.
We know how good Shea is, and he gets all the usage. I don't mind him. Even Giddey's priced well at 7,200 on DK. Definitely my favorite play would be Shea. I think the top value is Poku. Then Dort. Jalen Williams, too, at 4,600. I don't mind Jalen Williams. What do we have for Jalen Williams' minutes? 31 minutes, 4,600.
OKC minutes are tough to predict. I would just say that. And then Poku played 8 last game. And that was against Miami, where they knew that Bam would absolutely work him, which makes you think like a Poku somehow starts against Gobert, and Gobert is going to destroy him.
That's what I'm thinking too. Is like Poku could become super fragile if people are playing him at a high clip.
I would be cautious. Tread lightly, I would say. You know who would say that also? This guy, Walter White, just happens to be here. I don't know why I have that prop next to me. It's always on my desk. We got to move on. There's 2 more games. Muscala season? Come on. It's never going to be Muscala season, is it? Asking about Noel. Yeah, you can go back to Noel, but like if he's not shooting, if he's not scoring, he's kind of worthless, and they would throw him to the bench. They threw him to the bench last game. And, of course, I think you only really consider him if Russell is out. We have 2 more games. Crunch Time Crew coming in about 7 minutes or so, give or take. And then we will yield and step aside and make way for them to take us home. Portland, Dallas, 226 is the total. Portland's a 4-point dog. Bobby, do you have a lot you like in this game? I think Christian Wood's super interesting if he draws a start. Really? I don't know. We know Kleba's out. We know Christian Wood drew the start in the second half last game. Now, maybe that was case dependent. They were down like 20 points and put up 40 in the first half, and Kidd was just looking for a spark. He's only center eligible, which is kind of tricky, but he certainly could be interesting. And Nurkic would eat him alive on the other side. Another, wait for it, center. Bobby, Portland, Dallas.
So for me, Wood is looking like a great play, but there's so much like opportunity cost at center. Like I want to play Okongwu, I want to play Naz Reid. Wood, if he's starting, I'd probably try to get to. But like I said, he'd be my 3rd favorite center on this slate if that was the situation. Outside of that, like love Luka. Think he's in a fantastic spot. Nurkic going back at Christian Wood, I think, is pretty interesting. Like, no one's going to play Nurkic. He's 7,200. He could do some damage versus Christian Wood, I would imagine. But it's also the reason why, I don't know, we everything seems to think that Wood's starting, but maybe he doesn't, just because it's just a horrible matchup.
I would guess he doesn't, for the record.
I would too. That's what I'm saying. I think I could see him not starting, and then I would have very little interest, I feel like.
So he could play 30 minutes and not start, though. Like, that's possible too.
Yeah. But he started the second half of the last game, I'm pretty sure. So that's why people are starting to think that he may get the opportunity tonight.
I don't think he's going to start for what it's worth. Jason Kidd is committed to having Wood come off the bench. Like he's had this notion since before the season. Like there was even an interview about it, and they asked Christian Wood, "Hey, did you know you were coming off the bench?" He was like, "No, I hadn't heard of that." Do you guys remember that? Like Jason Kidd said this since before the season started. Christian Wood is coming off the bench, and that's what it's been the whole season.
Yeah, I'm with I think we're all in agreement. Like we don't think he starts. Projections seem to think otherwise, but
I mean, the context of the fact they were losing by 20 and scored 40 points, I think that's the reason why I started second half and trying to shake things up. I think that's the story, but who knows? But again, I think he could still be playable with just a little tick if he doesn't start. We probably project him by 28 minutes, maybe 26. I'm not sure. I'm out of the projection team.
Which is pretty much what he plays, about 28 minutes.
He's still playable, but I want to play Nas. I want to play Okongwu. There's a ton of centers. Maybe he's at the top of the list behind those two, but it's only two. You only really have 2 positions for center. So
we're just not playing Dame tonight, right? Like Dame's great, but we're not playing him. Oh, somebody's saying Gary Trent's out. That doesn't surprise me. That's interesting. Who would jump in the starting lineup? Is that the case there?
It doesn't matter. Fred VanVleet season again. I didn't just tell you, but Bobby said the same thing. But VanVleet, Siakam are looking even better.
Who do you think starts for Toronto now?
DeSoma, by the way, available. He'll play 20 minutes. Man, it might maybe Banton. I'm not saying to play Banton. I'm trying to think who it would be. FEV.
Yeah, they're not starting Boucher. They could start Juancho.
They're starting Thad, I think.
No, they're going to start Thad for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're thin at the guard. So I think it would be Banton. He started before. Interesting. But like usage almost definitely condenses on FEV and Pascal and Barnes. Like I'm guessing that's what happens. Interesting.
Man.
I'm curious what our projection team does. We have one more game, but we'll let crunch time figure it out. Unless you have a thought there, Will.
No, we're good. We can move on.
Yeah, let's knock out this last game. Again, this one is an hour and a half later than everything else. Starts 10 o'clock, back half, I believe, of the ESPN doubleheader. 237.5 is the total. Big boy total. It's high and it's tight. The prices are expensive, too. Denver just a 1.5 point favorite here. LeBron, Davis, Jokic, all in the 5 figures. I think those are the most appealing pieces. Obviously, you got to pay for them. Don't hate Murray in the mid tier. Don't hate a Bruce Brown. He's fine, but not sexy. And don't mind Bones Highland. Shout out Winky if you're out there. Good call on Bones a couple days ago. I will yield to you, Will, as far as Denver and the Lakers. Are you setting aside a bunch of funds for LeBron or Davis or Jokic?
Yeah, I think, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so for me, we want to play all the value, but we got to spend some money somewhere. Jokic is a good play. AD to me is an even better play. Like, he really hasn't had any drop-off since LeBron has been back. He should be priced where Jokic is. He should be $12K, but he's still not there. Give me all the Anthony Davis, and I know he's had some injury history, but I don't think anybody and their mom can say that Anthony Davis has been hurting their pockets if they've been playing him in DFS. I've advocated playing him every night, even when LeBron came back when he was $10K, and he's continued to smash that price at 11-2. Anthony Davis is one of the best plays on the slate. Should be another competitive matchup, Dean. And Anthony Davis, I mean, I'm gonna go box score. I'm gonna go old school here. Forget usage. Forget rebound rates. Forget assist rates. I'm going old school box score. 61 fantasy points, 70 fantasy points, 54 fantasy points. Had 7 in Cleveland. He was sick that day. 85, 71, 52, 58, 57, 84, like 63, 56. This is what we want to see from 11K players. And Anthony Davis, guess what his ownership projection is on DKD? I've been waiting for this if we hadn't been able to tell. 3.62%, pretty much sitting around 3%, and Anthony Davis is getting 0 ownership. Wait for it, because of Okongwu. Get the heck out of here. Like, give me AD all day. All day.
Yeah. I mean, salary and, roster construction is a thing. The center and center only. I believe
there's so many other 5 and 4K guys. Who cares about Okongwu?
Oh, I'm not arguing. I'm not saying don't play Davis, to be clear. I'm not saying that. Certainly in the pool, 11-2, pretty good price, but center and center only, and some of it's Nas dependent. But if a Congo puts up like 34, like, you're fine, right? Like, you can survive that. There's many other ways to go on this monster slate. But I want to get your take, Bobby. Are you as passionate about Davis as Will is? Do you like LeBron? Do you like Jokic? Do you like nothing here? Where are you at?
Yeah, I actually really like the Davis call. He's going to be coming in low owned. I think that's a sharp way to kind of attack this slate. He's probably the center that, just because of what the time of this game starts, there's obviously a ton of good centers, but he's the one superstar that could break the slate that no one's going to play. You can make the case for Jokic, but
me too.
People will find their way to get to. I think we're getting the value to where people will get to, and not like at a heavy clip, but people will play Jokic, people will play Embiid. AD will definitely come in under those guys. So I don't hate the AD call. LeBron's the guy in 9,800 that I have currently. I think it's a good spot. Like, I don't mind going to LeBron. I think he's under 10K. Getting to him just kind of is the easier route for me. Outside of, like, I'd love to pay for Jokic. Jokic just absolutely. What do you go for 82 the other night? He was awesome. He was on my winning squad. It feels weird to get off here because he could easily do this again versus the Lakers. But I don't know if I can pay that tag currently. I don't know. I feel like the AD call, I think, super sharp. And then for value, I think Schroeder's interesting at 3.6.
Wow, I've not considered Dennis Schroeder in this slate at all.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. We'll throw that in the bucket. I'm hearing, is that some music? Is that the Crunch Time crew coming in?
Those are the sweet sounds of my home. It's 2 screaming babies and a frustrated wife. It's just the chorus of my home.
It's perfect for this show. Trust me.
Perfect with how this show is.
Yeah. I will mute myself as y'all chat.
Tell Steve to give us the baby GIF with it waving its hand. That's what we need right here. We need that one.
Gordon Hayward officially available. Our projection team is projecting Banton to start for Toronto. No surprise there. Yeah, Roth, Friday. It feels like it couldn't come fast enough for you. For a lot of us, I suppose.
Ooh,
Happy Friday.
Oh, thank you. Up? Yeah.
Sorry,
Happy to be here.
Real quick, everyone. If whoever betting Kevin Durant on Fanduel is plus 100 for over 6.5 rebounds, he is getting over that. So go get that line now before it changes.
Do it.
There you go. Roth, we've talked our heads off in this show. Myself, Bobby, and Will. Unless you guys got anything else, it's a big boy slate. A lot to talk about for as far as Andy and Andre to break down. I'm happy to yield. You got anything else, Bobby? You got anything else, Will? Or are we stepping aside?
Oh, we can step aside. I gotta go deal with this screaming kid.
Nice.
Will, you got your gift.
both.
Yeah.
It's not a crying baby, Will, but there is a baby on screen. Hopefully that appeases you and appeases the viewers as well. Appreciate y'all watching the first portion. I did not ask for likes the entire time. Bad job by me. Bad job hosting. Don't punish me, though. Kindly hit the like button now. Subscribe. Turn on those notifications. The start of the Fanduel sponsor Crunch Time with Kevin Roth, with Andre, with Andy Means. It starts now. Take it away, Roth.
Appreciate it. Welcome to it. This is indeed Crunch Time. And as Dino mentioned, it is sponsored by FanDuel. Go ahead and give us that thumbs up. Give us that little like. You just click the little button there. It makes you feel good when you do it. It's basically a Christmas present to us. So hit that like button. That's all we ask for. And all we bring you is the best content in the biz with the sharpest minds in the biz. One, Mr. Andy Means Business in the house. What's up, Meansy?
What's up, Roth? I'm thrilled it's Friday. I just crushed the best burger literally in the world from Small Cheval here in Chicago.
Oh,
I'm feeling good. So let's all I'm missing, I forgot to bring a freaking glass of wine down with me. So, come on. Nope.
Yeah, can you text the wife?
Wait till after. Yeah.
You could.
Yeah.
It might be. I text mine all the time, like beer, please. And
I don't have the little curtain up anymore. She's gonna pop up. Everyone's gonna.
Right, that's true.
She doesn't want to be on the show.
That's true. That's fair. I'm gonna need a quick little rundown of the Small Cheval burger. Is this like fat burger or is this like the smash patty? What's the deal here?
It's not. I think it's kind of a little bit of both. So the best way I like to describe it is, it's the best of both worlds of gourmet burger and fast food burger, and it's like a hybrid of that. So it's not too foo-foo, but it's not too greasy gross, and so it's just the perfect mixture of those two things, and it's just you can't beat it. That's the best way I can describe it.
You can't. Alan says, "Wow,
I am.
Legit looks so happy."
It was getting to the point where I was thinking the food was not going to get here in time, that I was going to have to wait till after. This is going to be sitting up there getting all cold, and my wife's going to be eating it, and I was going to be hangry. Now I could not be more content right now.
I'm glad. We got happy Andy today. We also have Dre here coming with the Hot Flames GPP takes. Dre, how are you, man?
I'm doing all right, hanging in there, placing some bets as always, but gonna also try to make a FanDuel and DraftKings lineup while I'm on air.
Okay, so very nice. I like it. Well, we got to get that energy up. We got to get this man a burger. Get Dre a burger. We got to pump him up. Let's talk this slate, guys. We do have 10 games. I think somebody said, "What's my favorite brewery?" I kind of missed that question. Sorry, here. Let me check it real quick. What's your favorite brewery? Wherever they make Pacifico. I don't know. That's the only beer I drink. Let's dive into this slate a little bit here, because there's a whole lot, and I want to win some money, and I need you to do that.
Yeah, we can help you there. Still waiting on some decently big ones, especially in Minnesota. So right off the bat, if you're a premium subscriber, go check out What If Projections, because if you look at if Rudy Gobert's out, you're gonna see some nasty looking RG values. So right off the bat, you're gonna have a decision to make on FanDuel where you can only play one center, because if Rudy's out, Naz Reid, because remember Cat's out. So last year, year before, when Cat was out, it was it's Naz Reid effing season, man. He is a good per minute guy, can do a lot of stuff on the floor. But now it's not so much that, because Rudy's there. But now Cat's out. Now if Rudy's out, we're right back to where we were the past few seasons. It's Naz Reid season. So
Very nice.
he is going to be a really, really good play if Rudy's out. I have no feel whether Rudy's going to play or not. So, but like I said, on FanDuel, that's a really big decision point because the best play on the slate overall is Okongwu, as everyone knows, but he's center only eligible. So, and Naz Reid is center only eligible. I'm double checking that to be the case because I don't want to give out wrong information. I was almost positive. Yeah, he's center only. On DK, obviously, it's not that big a deal because you have a util spot. So we got to make a decision on that by 6:59 Eastern. Because who knows, we might not have that Minnesota news. They also have D'Angelo.
We got it now. Rudy is out.
Oh well.
This means he's kind of day, man. Everything falling in line for him.
Well, that's gonna suck for FanDuel because you can only play one of those dudes now, and I
already know who I'm playing.
I mean, I want to see it officially in projections, but I mean, you're definitely playing both on DK now. I want to see it official. I want him to give the last little fine-tooth comb, but now it's probably Naz Reid over Okongwu.
Okay, Dre in agreement, nodding in agreement there. By the way, quick note here. Somebody says, hey, Dre, good call on Butler and Hero last night, just locking him in. You said, I'm not even messing around, locking him in. That went well, so good work. Okay, memes, now that is somewhat out of the way, but we'll circle back. Let's get back to the build.
Yeah, let's start on FanDuel. And it looks like D'Angelo Russell will be game time. So you're probably not getting that one till, if you're lucky, 7:30 Eastern, maybe a little after. So yeah, let's talk FanDuel, where I think I'll start backwards now. I think you got to start at center. I mean, I'm going to tag both of these guys just because I want people to know how good of plays they are. But I mean, I think I'll reiterate. I want to see it with my own eyes on our projections. But I think it's got to be Naz, man. He's cheaper and that's mainly going to be it. So starting there, like I don't think you're playing or considering anyone else at center that's not one of those two guys. So there's not really anything else to say at that position. So let me bounce it back up to point guard, where there are some decisions here, because you have some really, really good expensive plays, and you can play a couple of them actually. You have Trae Young at 9.8. You have SGA at 10.2. Those guys are like 1A and 1B for me on both sides tonight as far as who you're spinning up on. I kind of like playing the price tag when it comes to the different sites, when it comes to prioritizing them. So like that would make Trae Young the option on FanDuel where he's a little cheaper, and then SGA the priority on DK where he's a little cheaper. They're both really close. Like I'll note that we have Trae Young at 38 minutes. I feel like that's more closer to the higher end of his range of outcomes. So like even if you shave one off of his minutes total, he's maybe going to look a little closer to SGA. So those two guys are some of my favorites. LaMelo at 8K, he is probably my favorite of the three, just because he's like 2K cheaper. So I think that's a great option on FanDuel as well. Let's see, moving down, Jordan Poole is a solid option already. He's going to really look better if Clay's out, which at the rate it's going now, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Clay gets rolled out too. So those are three really good ones right there, or I should say four. And then like Jamal Murray's in that mix too. Those are all point guard eligible guys. Banton, I guess if he starts, would be okay, but I don't think we're going to need that salary relief on this slate. So let's go to shooting guard real quick. See if there's anybody that doesn't have those that eligibility. I would say, yeah, maybe. I mean, already talked about SGA. So then you get to I like Hawks Bogdanovic at 6K, like DiVincenzo at 5.3. I like Malik Monk at 5K. Those are the guys I like in that range. If you're spinning up, Zach LaVine looks really good at 7.3. Yeah, that's good enough there. Small forward, I do have Kyle Anderson tagged. He's going to look even better in projections once they get refreshed with Gobert out. He's just too cheap. I mean, he's already a good play, with Cat being out lately, and his price isn't really moving. So He's one of the first guys I'd lock in for salary relief at small forward or power forward. DeAndre Hunter at 5'4", Kuminga at 4'9". Draymond's out. I mentioned DiVincenzo. I mentioned Levine. Yeah, I probably wouldn't go any higher than Levine unless you're going up to like a Jaylen Brown. So that's it. And let me move to power forward real quick, where we have you have two good 8K guys. Randall at 8'3", Sabonis at 9'8". Really, really like Jared Allen at 7K. Like him for cash and tournaments, honestly. Like he rebounds enough and is efficient enough with his shooting because he shoots so close to the basket that his floor is good. Then if he's getting stocks and like the rebounds are up a little bit above expectation, he's like flirting with like 45 or 50. So really like Jared Allen. And Christian Wood, I wrote about him in the expert survey that no Cleve was a huge deal for him. If you looked at their last game, they started him in the second half, which our boy Roth has been clamoring for to start him at the start of the game. He played 35 minutes and he would have played probably 37 and a half if Kid didn't pull the plug. We have him at 30. So rightfully so, because like Kid will also be like, oh, you're not defending well. I'm not playing you anymore. I'll just play small ball. So the high end of that is like literally 7 or 8 more minutes on that number than we have for his minutes. So really, really like him. I think he's in play in all formats. Probably not on DK anymore because I think he's only center eligible.
Is that 6.5?
Yeah, he's only 6.5 on FanDuel. Yeah.
Lock it in. You lock that shit in. Let's go.
You can't play him on DK, Roth.
I was just looking at that. I was going to play him at a power forward, and I was like, why isn't he showing up?
Yeah,
I got really upset.
Yeah, I think that's about it for me then. A lot of good options. I guess Poole will get a arrow pointing up if Clay's out. Let me just double check real quick what our what ifs look like with D'Angelo Russell out. Like Noel will look good, and then Anthony Edwards look a little better. So yeah, still a few balls to drop, but it's looking pretty clear for the most part on like who's in the pool for cash games tonight, I think.
Okay, very good. Is it wrong that I laugh a little bit every time you say still waiting for some balls to drop?
Maybe I say it on purpose.
I get a little chuckle. I get a little chuckle every time. Okay, good stuff. Means I feel I have a solid grasp of the build there, but I want to go off the wall. I want some tournament plays. And for that, we go to our guy, Drizzy Dre. Dre, what is your overall game plan or construction here when you're looking at FanDuel?
First of all, that little lock button we have.
Oh.
You go to center.
Okay.
You play Nas Reed. We mess around here. You play Nas Reed. See what Steve just did? We doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
4-5 in OKC, horrible against centers. We gotta take that. We gotta take advantage of that. Yeah. There we go. You gotta take advantage of that. So, everyone's gonna go to Kongu. Kongu can have a good game. We understand that, but he has to deal with Plumlee down there. We forget that Plumlee is not a bad center, and he's active and agile, just like a Kongu is. So, I'd rather just go with a guy like Nas Reed, who I know is probably going to easily get a double-double here in the spot. I love Kyrie at the power forward. At the point guard position today. He has not scored less than I want to say 20. If I'm correct, I think it's 26 and 27 points this year against Toronto this year. So he's been on fire. So he's someone that I would love to get a lot of exposure to in my lineups today as well. 27 points is his lowest output in 3 games against them this year. So sorry, I found that out just now. So I don't mind taking shots on him in tournaments. So at a low ownership, I think another lock might be because we still got to wait for the D'Angelo Russell news. So I think you have to play Anthony Edwards today. 8-8 is, I get the price. He is definitely like, we know how much of a like tournament play he is as far as the volatility wise, but I think it has to be played. It has to be done. So 8-8 I think is a price we have to pay for him. I think it's worth it. I loved Zach LaVine today. I think he's an excellent player. Sorry if I'm all over the place.
You're fine.
I'm just ranting on about the plays I love today.
That works for me, man.
Jordan Poole, like this Golden State Warriors game kind of scares me, just from a blowout perspective. But then it's also the Philadelphia 76ers who can easily not blow anyone out. So I'm iffy on. I want to play them, and if I'm playing a guy like Joel Embiid or James Harden, I'm running it back. I want to make sure everyone knows that. I think you should definitely run it back with like a Poole, Kuminga, just to take and DiVincenzo, just to take advantage of that game, possibly maybe going over than what it's supposed to go. So that's what I would do in that situation. And then I do also I like Christian Wood. He as a power forward against Portland, it's a real thing. They do not perform for some reason. They cannot guard power forwards at all. So I love that spot for him a lot here. Shai also is a great play at 10-2. I know it's expensive, but the steals and blocks upside is there because we know Anthony Edwards can get careless with the ball and turn the ball over, and he's had no less than 30 points against the team in 2 meetings against them. So I think that's a fantastic play we have to look at today as well. Jaylen Brown against Orlando, I think, even though it's priced at 9K, but he can go off, and I think he will have a good game here as well. And this one more guy that I did want to mention here. Where is he on my screen? Well, I mentioned Kuminga. Well, Kuminga's not getting any ownership now, but Scotty Barnes. We don't have no Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam, specifically them two. I like both of them a lot tonight. Like, I'm really high on them too. I think that Brooklyn game is going to be close, even without those guys there. So I think those guys are definitely worth the roster. I know Scotty Barnes up to 8-2, but I think the steals and blocks upside with Fanduel helps out a lot. And he's going to have to score and help this team out a little bit more. And Siakam does it all. He gets points, rebounds, and assists. So I love that. Take that over on that prop 2 on Prize Picks.
Okay, very good. Good stuff. Means, let's kick this over to DK. I do want to leave at least a little time for some questions here. What was the site that we used to play where you could roster like 4 centers?
Fantasy Draft. Yeah, they're done. So yeah.
Damn it! I need to sign up. I need to get all my centers in.
Yeah, Roth literally just logged on to Fantasy Draft and was like, I want to play 5 centers. Nope, sorry, we are not in business anymore.
Damn it! All right, it was a great business model. It should have worked.
Especially on tonight's slate, man. This was like, and I'm not kidding. Where I'm literally not talking about center. If you're not playing those Kongwu and Naz Reid, I'm getting some echo. I don't know if that's me or what.
That might be me.
Yeah. There we go. If you're not playing Naz Reid and Okongwu tonight, like, you should just, in cash games, like, there'll be some sort of reason to fade them, I'm sure. But if you're not playing them in cash games, you should proceed to a new hobby. I'm not going to talk about any other centers on the slate for DK. That's just, they're the very, 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 very clear plays. So let's talk guards. A lot of the same names. Already mentioned some of them. SGA, Trey, LaMelo. Those are some solid options. Probably playing at least one of those guys, in my opinion. Like I said, probably prefer SGA on DK. I will note, I found it a little interesting today. I put it in my article today on one of the tables. And I know it's a little different because Trey's got a few guys out, but SGA's averaged, using FanDuel scoring, he's averaged 6 more points per game than Trae Young this year, which I found quite interesting. Trey just hasn't shot the ball well. It's been well noted. Everybody's talking about it. But, you are what your record says you are, I guess, to borrow an old Bill Parcells term. And SGA's has been better. So, again, little different situation. They're without 3 guys. But, Bogey's back too. So that's going to eat into Trey a little bit. Not trying to say don't play him, just saying if you're looking at quote-unquote recent form, you should play SGA over Trey. But I think you can play both of them. And LaMelo will be another one. Cheap stuff. Banton, if he's starting. Let's see. Poole. Let me double check our what if on what Poole's going to look like if Clay's out, because his DK price is up there. He's going to be good. He's going to be okay. Let me look. He's probably going to be more in play at the shooting guard position, which is a good somewhat transition because, like, you could play him there. He would probably be the play if Clay's not in. You can save 900 to go down to Levine. You could save even more to go down to Bogdanovich. But that's probably what you're going to be looking at. One of those guys. DiVincenzo will get a nice little boost if Clay's out too, and he's already projected pretty well. He's 5'7". Noel will look pretty good as well if D'Angelo Russell's ruled out. That is a fair amount of guards, so let's bump it over
real
to small
quick.
forward.
Can you catch me up on
Yeah.
Banton? I'm seeing 3-1. What's the good here? Who's out? Who's benched?
Trent got ruled out, and they're already without OG, so without two quote unquote starters. It's flimsy. You probably don't, and it's one of those things where we're not like, oh my god, I gotta get Jokic in without Jamal Murray and MPJ or something. Like there's not that guy who like we have to be jamming in a flimsy play like that, especially when we have this Okongwu and Naz Reid situation. So like probably don't need it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you're probably not going higher than those guards I talked about as far as salary. So don't think you need it, but he would be the guy for some reason. That's the build you like. Let's see. Yeah, small forward, a handful I already mentioned. The Hawks guys, Bogdan, and I didn't mention DeAndre Hunter yet. He's small forward, power forward. Let's see here. Slow-mo, Kyle Anderson, small forward, power forward, another good option. Jaden McDaniels at 4-2. He's okay. Might not need it now. He's going to look a little better if D'Angelo's rolled out. If you're for some reason spending up LeBron at 9.8, I don't know why, but whenever I see LeBron under 10K on DK, my eyes like widen. Like he could be 9.9 on the slate, and I'm like, oh yeah. And if he's like 10K the next day, I'm like, nah, can't do it. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I don't know what it is. But you can play him. He's fine. Probably spending up at guard though. Let's look at power forward because I'm probably running a little behind here. A handful of Poku. If Poku's starting, he's 4-1. They ruled out Darius Baisley, who they reinserted in the rotation recently. So you can play Poku if he's starting. I'm sorry, I got small forward popped on here. Already mentioned Hunter. Yeah, Kuminga at 4.9, he's okay. I think you're probably playing a slow-mo or Poku here, in my opinion, or Hunter. Probably going cheapish and then spinning up a guard, maybe spinning up a LeBron. Like I see like the best spin ups on this set are point guard and shooting guard. So like that's where you should be allocating salary. And like I said, I'm not talking about sooner, so back to you.
Okay, very good. Dre, anything on DK that you want to talk me through that is different from maybe some of the guys you liked on FanDuel that stand out here? You're muted still, bud.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Pretty much what Naz Reid, I think, is just the best overall play. As I said before, I like LaMelo a little bit more on DK. Just I know his price is pretty much the same, I think, on FanDuel too. But because you have the triple double bonus, I think I like that a little bit more. And it's good to see him out there healthy. So LaMelo, I think, is something that interests me a lot. Christian Wood price at 6K is a little bit cheaper, so I like that a lot more on here. So like pretty much these guys are just glaring a little bit cheaper. I want to try to get in their roster. Kyle Anderson also is a really good play, I think, also on this side too. Especially with no Gobert too. RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett's, I think, a fantastic play and a good run back in this game against the Chicago Bulls here. I would still go back to DeMar DeRozan, even though he disappointed last time. I think he's a good play. That young, he's only center eligible. That's a problem. You can't get them both, but right. I think he's a great pivot off of the other guys here because he's going to play as many minutes as he can handle, I think, tonight. So, and I like him a good bit.
Okay, very good. Let's see here. We've got still 10 minutes until lock. Meansy, is there anything that you want to add in before we just open it up to questions of all forms?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever, when you're taking QQs from our various chats, have you ever made up a question pretending that someone else is to help with your own lineup?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I don't pretend it's someone else's. I just randomly insert my question into I'm not like.
You say, I'm getting a question here in Discord. So what do you like that?
I just ask my question and slide it in as if it's someone else's question is my usual technique.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I may do it again because I need a forward. So at some point, if you hear me ask a forward at a certain price point, that's my
How about
question.
we just ask now? I bet a bunch of people want to know. What price point do you want?
I need a forward on DK. I got $7,400. I need a forward on DK.
Is Levine, right? Does he have, or he's just shooting guard? Damn. So you could go with Dre's boy, RJ Barrett at 6'8".
Yeah.
That's or Bogdan at 6K and then upgrade somewhere else. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I'll see where I'll spend up. Okay, that works. Thank you.
Roth does not want to play Barrett.
Hey, there you go. So you didn't even have to lie about it being someone else's question. All right, let's see. I'm gonna jump on over to the RG Discord, get into some of these QQs, scrolling up just a wee bit here. Oh, a lot of questions. Okay. I'll start with Sit Down Son, who says Pacifico is an elite take, Roth. Yes. Get on the bandwagon. I love it. But as for real questions, Ball says, hey, means if Clay is out, Moody or anyone else, I mean, the Pool.
They've liked DiVincenzo more than Moody now. I don't like that can change at the drop of a hat because if they're not playing well, they always just try to go to the young guy to give him a jolt. But it would probably be Poole for sure. DiVincenzo will get a bump. Kuminga, maybe not too much of a bump, but and you got to see who's starting too. That if like Moody's starting, then you're like, okay, then your alarm bell should go up. I'm like, all right, now Moody's getting a shot, but it's DiVincenzo and Poole mainly.
Okay, all right. I'm going to call this a tournament question. Judo Nomi says on DK, what are your thoughts on going Van Vliet over Ball at the same price and playing Rozier? I actually had this, and then I changed my mind.
Going Van Vliet over Ball?
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it. It's not. There's no issue with it. I just don't know if I love it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. In tournaments, that's fine. As long as it's not stupid, it's okay to play. Let's see. DK Cash means.
Sorry, Rob, can I butt in real quick?
Yeah, please.
They said McMillan said that Hawks Bogdanovic is not on a minutes restriction any longer. He like blew through it like 2 games ago or twice, and they like were saying we shouldn't have done that. But now the fact they're already saying he's not on one, I think he was in he got up to mid-30s. So we have him at 32 right now. I would, if you're running your stuff now, I would bump him up to maybe 33, 34, just to catch it in time because that game starts in 7 minutes. So I thought it was worthwhile. Now, if I'm Roth, your question, I would go to Bogdanovic at that and upgrade somewhere else.
That was a different Bogdanovic that I plugged in.
I'm talking about Hawks Bogdanovic.
Oh, I plugged in the wrong Bogdanovic.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
He's not a bad play either, too, against Sacramento.
All right.
He's been having pretty good games lately.
Why are there so many Bogdanovic's? Okay, good stuff. Let's see. Means FanDuel Cash, Pool Trey, or Kyrie Edwards. And would that depend on Clay and D-Russ news?
I would just – it was Poole and Trey. I would just do that one and just – because even if Clay's in, Poole still looks good. And the way it's trending, man, I think he's not going to play. So and then with Edwards, you're still banking on someone to sit in both of those. But as of right now, Poole already looks good now. So I think that Poole Trey one is the safer one.
Okay. I have another kind of complex question. This one from Arlo means it's also a cash question for DK. I've got Noel LeBron locked in at guard forward. And if Russell is in, I can pivot to Jalen Williams and SGA. Do you like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Arlo's so good with that. If you have QQs about late swap, get on Discord and talk to Arlo. He is always thinking about that stuff, and that's why he wins.
It's so important. It's so because that's the little edge, right? It's just the little edge of effort that can get you those wins when everybody else is checked out and eating their Chevy Saval.
I didn't mention one good play. Jalen McDaniels for Minnesota. I think it's a good play.
Okay, very good. I think I've seen his name come up once or twice. What was the burger called, Means?
Small Cheval. It's the main restaurant's called Au Cheval, AU space Cheval. Then they have smaller ones where you can just go in and get the burger called Small Cheval.
I see. Okay, all right. FanDuel single entry, Dre. Which high-priced chalk guard would you fade for SGA?
High price guard.
So assuming that would be SGA, Trey, who's the other guy that was on that list?
LaMelo is the other one.
LaMelo, thank you. LaMelo was the one I was looking for.
SGA Trey. Goodness gracious, that's tough because they're all not popular. Really, I'm looking on FanDuel.
Yeah. So you don't.
Trey's 36 and LaMelo's 30.
So those
and
are
then
only
SGA's
two,
9.
Yeah, those are the only two that is popular. I would probably say they both are in great. I probably would say LaMelo because even though he does a lot more for this team. Actually, no, it's going to be Trey because Trey's closer to his price point, and Trey could still put up a dud, even though I highly doubt it.
Okay. All right. That works. FanDuel Cash means Saboner and DiVincenzo or Levine and Jared Allen.
Kind of like the second one better, the Levine Allen one.
Okay. Right back to DK
D'Lo
Cash.
ruled out.
Who
is?
D'Lo ruled out.
Wow. All right. Well, let's see here.
I'm just going to backload this thing. I'm not playing nobody at 7.
Edwards is going to, looking at our what if, we already know about Nas. Noel's going to look pretty decent on DK. Edwards is going to look okay, yeah. I mean, I don't think Edwards is going to grade out better than those guards, but he's still going to look pretty good. It's still like FD is Nas and slow-mo for sure. Then Edwards and Noel is fillers. DK is Nas for sure. Probably slow-mo just because of the positional stuff. But I would rather play Bogdan rather than slow-mo, but you still might need him at like power forward. And then Edwards is going to be up in the conversation with those guards that I mentioned as far as a spin up. And then Noel is going to be a good guy to plug in like the guard spot. So that would be my Minnesota recap.
Okay, very good. Let's see. 3 minutes left here until lock. Let me catch up. Where was I here? I'm scrolling up just a little bit. Is Lillard okay in a DK GPP versus Ball in a lineup with Luka?
Yes.
Sure. All right. Very good. Gamble says this is a 3v3 FanDuel Cash means Jamal Murray, Levine, and Kuminga, or Kyrie, Hunter, DiVincenzo.
Slightly in the second one.
The Collector says Bogdan or Dante.
Bogdan for cash for sure.
Yeah. Okay. DK Cash means right back at you. Anthony Edwards and Stewart, or Bogdan and it was just DeRozan.
I don't love either of those. I don't love the DeRozan or the Stewart. Probably the two. I'd probably go the second one, the DeRozan one.
Very good. Booley's with a GPP question on FanDuel, Dre. Is there a maximum amount of Atlanta players in one lineup you would play?
Maximum amount. I'm not playing any. So me none. But if I had to say anything, probably 2.
Okay. All right. Let's see. This is FanDuel GPP, Dre. SGA or Luka Doncic?
They both are going to have honestly great games today. I'm going to probably go. Oh, man. This game's going to be close. Both of them. I'm going to say SGA because I think the steals upside and blocks upside is higher. But I do like Luka a lot tonight as well.
Have the Mavs won in like a month? Have they won ever? I don't know if they've won all month. Prodigy, FanDuel single entry question here. Right back at you. Sorry, real quick. DK Cash question means McDaniels or Poku?
If Poku's starting, I'd play Poku.
Okay. FanDuel single entry, Dre. It's a 3v3 for you. Van Vliet, Kyrie, and Jay Green, or LeBron, Hunter, and Monk?
First one.
Means is McDaniels okay in DK Cash?
Yep.
I love him tonight now. Like he should be popping off the court IQ right now.
Yeah. What about Noel here with Russell out?
He too.
Yep, on DK. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Guys, we've hit the lock. If you got any post-lock questions, get them in. Means I have a salmon burger to eat for dinner. That is not as good. That's not.
Jaden Hollow Bones. Jaden McDaniels from Minnesota. My bad. If I said
No. I don't think you did, or maybe I don't know. Oh,
You gotta
yeah.
start
all right,
doing
whatever.
Minnesota McDaniels and Charlotte McDaniels.
Yeah, I
now,
like
we
the
do with
Minnesota
Bogdanoviches.
McDaniels a lot. Minnesota McDaniels.
Someone should tell brothers. I assume, are they brothers? I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
They are.
Yes.
Yeah. Someone should tell them that only one of them is allowed to be good at basketball just for our purposes. It's really confusing the hell out of me.
Should we wrap up the show now so Roth can go eat his salmon burger? I know you're itching to go get that. Should we just
I'm not
close
saying
it up
I'm
now?
excited about it. It's just what I've got. Like, that's what I'm eating. I'm trying
It's
to.
what he's horse
A salmon burger.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
You know, it's got like some cheese and some peppers in it. Face
It's
straight.
what he's horse shit.
I don't like seafood at all, but that just
I'm trying to get svelte like Meansy, man. I'm trying to.
What? I'm literally watching my stomach move while I laugh.
you are really you're really skinny. Like I wish I was that skinny.
What means
it
on the
the lighting?
Peloton? We know you're crushing on the Peloton.
And Clay will start tonight.
All right. This is a tasty burger. All right. With that, I'm going to get on out of here. I'm going to try to figure out how to work some McDaniels and some Noel into my lineups if it's not too late. So with that, we are going to peace on out of here. Hey, guys, free content. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, there's a little thumbs up button that says I liked it. Go ahead and press that. We would appreciate it. We are going to bounce on out of here for Means, for Dre, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. We appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. We just lost our salmon burger sponsors, Alan says. You have been crushed.